And we're live. Hey guys.
Nice. How's it
Hey,
going?
I hope
how's it
this
going?
works. Chat, please confirm if you can't see us or hear us. Anyway, what a week, guys. Jesus. It's been
Okay.
It's
rough.
it's been a shit show. Come on, guys.
Yes. Let's be honest. It's been bad.
Ugh.
I mean,
Yeah.
Watching every crypto drop.
well, I think this one is probably one of the worst ones we've had in quite some time. I've heard people say that it's been the worst crash we've had like ever in terms of everything that's gone down. I mean, we had everything from Celsius and Three Arrows Capital leading up to this. All of that happened, and then we got FTX, which is, I think most people thought that FTX would be the one that that would save the industry, basically.
I don't know about that.
No, but
I mean,
again,
the amount of people that have exited the market within this year alone has
Yeah.
been insane. This bear
I
market
know.
has been truly ferocious.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, I'm not that surprised. We're in a recession as well. Well, on our way towards a recession at least. Everything is just bad. It's not just the crypto space, right? It's everything. But
Yeah. This has been by far, say that there's been more wealth destroyed this year than ever before by a long, long way. This makes 2008 look tiny just simply because of how much the asset markets have blown up in the last 10 to 15 years.
for sure. And I mean, if you think about it, 2008 was the whole housing thing, right? It really went.
Yes, the
And
bubble.
that bubble, it's not really a bubble now, but that hasn't really happened yet. It started. The housing market have started falling, but it's not even close to like bottoming out. I think we got a couple more months before it actually really goes.
A little scary to think about.
Yeah. I mean, I'm happy. I'm lucky. I have a house. I don't need to buy it. I won't have to sell it. So I'll just have to keep working to afford to pay it off. I guess the interest rates being so high. But yeah, I don't know
Well,
about you guys, but I think you're pretty okay too, right?
definitely. Since I'm thinking about it, we should probably do some quick introductions as well.
Should we? Okay.
Why
we
not?
should. Well, okay. I'm Phil. I'm the founder of Crypto Talks and also the CEO. Cool. I mean, look, I think most people that are watching this time, at least live, know who I am, because I basically told all my friends to come. But yeah, I've been in this space for long enough now to know that this is bad, but it's gonna get better, hopefully. So
That is true. That's true.
And who are you?
My name is John. I am the assistant to Phil, essentially, in all of this. Definitely been in the crypto space for quite some time. Probably going on 6 years now. Jeez. So yeah, what you said about this being one of the worst, this is definitely one of the worst that I've ever seen. Just the sheer amount of people that have exited the market as a whole has been insane to watch.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I'm glad you're with us, John.
Thank
you. How about you? Who's that?
This will be Rob.
The last member.
Yeah, and least important.
No, come on.
Far from it.
Far from it.
No. So I've been similar time. I'm into my 6th year now at crypto, and it feels the same. It doesn't get better, but it does get easier. Trust me. Like, this is a lot more manageable for 2022, just because you've seen it all before. It's not as surprising, but this is brutal, and I think the only kind of there's a light at the end of the tunnel. The things that brought you to the market, they're still valuable. That's not gone away. The price doesn't reflect the value. So
the fact that
be
technology alone is honestly so uniquely helpful in solving so many of the world's problems, that's why it just can't disappear. So when people think about even social adoption, it's just going to happen in time regardless. because there's no other alternative. The technology is already there.
Yeah, I mean, with that said, too, if you think about it, Solana had a real slap in the face during this because of the FTX thing, and even so, anything that I've seen from like on Twitter specifically, in regards to Solana devs and all that, they are all like, whatever, we're just building. They don't even care. Like, we're gonna keep building.
That's true.
I think I even saw one project somewhere that was announced that they were gonna move to Solana. Now, like, oh, okay, great.
Now is a very good time to move to Solana, or to consider moving to Solana.
Yeah, but you can,
if you can get in, the barrier to entry is so small, and the potential market adoption in terms of the growth from here is gigantic.
Well, even the active users for Solana alone is insane compared to the other blockchains.
Yeah.
I mean, isn't it?
Let me actually pull that up, because I
Go for
did
it.
a quick check just to see, because people freaked out so much about Solana lately. Let's see if this works. I have buttons. And also, Brandon says everything is on discount. And I mean, yeah.
That is so true.
You're right. You're right.
Oh,
And also,
this is actually one of the
Imre
best
says,
discount periods.
Imre claims that I'm old and that John is also old. Hey, we're old and experienced, so shh.
Yeah. Come on, Emery.
Yeah, Rob isn't old. He just looks older than us.
I just look cold.
All right. Let's see if I can. I'm going to switch this over. There you go. That works. So I checked on the block. And the number of active addresses for the Solana network is currently sitting on 519,000. A couple of days ago it was 520,000. It's about the same that it's always been. The average across time is somewhere around 500,000 and 700,000. Let's say it's an average of 600,000 a day, daily active addresses. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's any user on each one. It could be people that own 2 or 3 or whatever, but I don't really see the point of that. But if you compare that to Ethereum, which everybody knows is the big, like James usually says from Investor Answers, the 800-pound gorilla, right? You look at the number of active addresses on Ethereum is actually 400,000, 415, 424. And the average is about, I think when I last checked, the average was somewhere around 533,000 over time. So it's actually less people using Ethereum than Solana, which is kind of mad.
But what is the average net worth of an Ethereum user versus the average net worth of a Solana user? If you think that's where the metric comes in, is the value locked?
Yeah, I don't have that metric locked in anywhere. I don't think we can find that so quickly, but for sure.
It's definitely a good question to bring up for next.
Oh, yeah. I think we should put that into the study we're conducting.
Yeah, because there's the Ethereum is the king in terms of total value locked, in terms of NFT volume, like the size of the NFTs being sold.
Yeah.
But Solana is, and Solana essentially as it's emerging as its main competitor, as it's got a lot of catching up to do on those metrics.
Yeah.
And the way to do that is to simply carry on doing what they're doing without the outages that have happened in the past. They have to stop. If they stop, and it's seen as a reliable place to store, millions of dollars, then people will put millions of dollars on there.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just looking at Bitcoin as well here now. Active addresses, it's about 900,000, 800,000, somewhere around there. Kind of.
Okay.
So
I'm
looking in our chat
surprised.
real quick.
Yeah.
And I saw a question from NG. Do y'all think Solana has a potential to continue dropping in price? Why did it even drop in the first place?
Well, in my opinion, everybody knows I love Solana. It's not a secret. The reason for it is because I've done my research on, the metrics and all that. I'm not a fanboy, or moon boy that people call it nowadays. I'm not that type of person. I am a very risk-averse investor. But
That's true.
Solana, I mean, if I open up the charts for Solana here, just to quickly check if I even have any weird stuff going on with it. Let's see if I can go to the browser here. So I've been looking at Solana for quite some time before this, and I was kind of expecting something to happen, but look, Solana is not. I don't see it dying off. You know what I mean? It has such a big user base, and I don't have that tweet in the browser right now, but I know that Solana had somebody put a low in. They said that it might go to $5, and so I made a little line there, but I'm not sure I can see that happening. It depends on what Bitcoin does from now. I mean, when the dip happens, when the big crash comes, that's in my book at least when everything starts to fall hard. Everything falls, boom, and then it evens out when Bitcoin evens out, because everybody looks at Bitcoin, and then they kind of look at, okay, so Solana during this crash was really affected by the FTX thing, right? So the tweet that I was talking about earlier, by the way, was the one where somebody had noticed that FTX had a bunch of Solana, like 100 million Solana or something locked in. And if you think about it, I think that that's actually not bad for Solana, because that might actually be locked away, like with the Mt. Gox Bitcoin that was locked away for, what is it, 6 years now? 7, or is it 8 years? 2004? Yeah, okay, 8 years. And it's still not been released. So if a sixth of the market cap, basically, or the sixth, like 1/6 of the tokens or coins are locked away for years, that makes it instantly more scarce, like almost 20% more scarce, like overnight. And yeah, the price might crash a bit more now, but then when the bull market starts, I think, right?
Well, quite for sure. Either way, a reduction of the circulating supply is never a bad thing. But you kind of got to think, those floating Solana, were they? How much of those were user funds, as in were there to actively be traded, and how much were essentially part of FTX's long-term treasury?
Yeah.
Because if they were part of the long-term treasury, they weren't going to be circulating anyway.
Yeah. No.
So
It needs to
nothing
be
much
researched.
actually changes. Yeah. My suspicion is those Solana are locked away for a long, long time, and so actually it doesn't. There'll be some, I'm sure, but not much.
Yeah, for sure. Another thing that I also noticed about the Solana thing was that when, I don't know how many of you heard of this, but there was a big scare that 50 million Solana would be unlocked, because some big players unstaked when this happened. And I think it was 49,800,000 Solana that was going to be unlocked on epoch number 370, I believe it was. And everybody was super scared that it would just be dumped. And that was why people prepared for the $5 Solana. Even I prepared for that, even though I didn't really believe it, because I have my reasons, I guess. But essentially, nothing happened. I was sitting on my phone because I had some funds on Pionex that I was looking at, and I was like, okay, at 2:30 today, it's going to be unlocked, approximately, and then I will be ready to buy a huge dip, right? And nothing happened. They just restaked it elsewhere.
Because the likelihood is those people have bought that Solana for when it's $1,000 a coin, and they don't want to sell it at $15 a coin.
Nor would they want to lose out, because I bet some of that was bought while it was a bit higher than this.
Probably.
Oh yeah. Well,
it's just not
unless
worth
it was
them to get out of the market right now.
Unless they were ICO wallets or very early investors back in 2020. Then.
So you did bring up one thing though that I want to mention real quick. Pionex.
Yeah.
Can you explain that to people real quick? Just
I can.
A quick idea.
Because I am a Pionex user. I think we all are now, actually.
I was.
You were?
Until recently.
Okay. Well, by the way, so everybody who is in the chat right now and hanging out, go ahead and join the Discord server. There should be a link. I think I did it right. In the description below.
Yeah,
Join
it's
the
down
Discord.
there.
Right.
It's down there.
Yeah, but yes. So Pionex is essentially it's an exchange, right? But they have built-in bots, trading bots, and they share liquidity with Binance, which is, at least for me, feels okay, even though gotta be careful with the exchanges right now. And I use this. This is where I get everything. This is where I buy stuff, and this is where I trade it with bots because I don't really trade. I don't really swing trade or anything like that. But Pionex is an exchange with built-in trading bots that are actually quite nice and simple to use. I don't know if one of you guys can send the link we have to it in the YouTube chat. But yeah, I can actually just show what it looks like if anyone in the chat wants to know, and I think you do, because I like to show this. I've already shown NG before how this works. And Dave, I see you there too, Dave. Let's see if I can go to the browser again. Ooh, there we go.
Are you sending it over, Rob, or do you want me to?
You can do it if you've got it. I was trying to find it.
Oh yeah, it's up in the links room somewhere up there. But essentially, this is what it looks like. It has a really nice. You can use any indicators that you want. There's no real limit to how many indicators you can attach to this. Unlike TradingView, for example, where you have to pay a bunch of money to get more than 3, which is annoying to me. So let's see. You'll be able to start some bots here if you use this. And the simplest one, I can actually open one that's already open. I have a Atom ETH trading bot right here. And so
Did you
this
say
is
Atom ETH as in ATOM?
yes, Atom
Okay,
ETH.
just making sure.
Yes. So this basically just swing trades Atom versus ETH. Kind of just accumulating ETH, I suppose. That's the goal of it. And the good thing about trading with a grid bot, first of all, if you have dollars, you can put dollars in and it will trade for you on the way up and on the way down, giving you small profits, right? The whole time. And then if you close it at the top, you'll have a bunch of dollars. If you close it at the bottom, you'll have a bunch of whatever assets that you traded against, like Bitcoin or ETH or whatever you like. But if you trade it with a trading pair like this one, Atom versus ETH, for example, I'm going to close these ones. I made a range that I noticed Atom moving through with ETH over time. And it's this one right here. So basically the goal for me here was to start the bot down here and let it sell a bunch of Atom on the way up to get more ETH. Because it's been doing that for, well, I suppose like 700 days now, which is kind of crazy. It's been in the same range the whole time.
Gee.
But something that you must realize as well by trading two assets against each other is that if you have, let's say, Bitcoin and ETH, and you want them to trade against each other, when they both go up in value over time, they might still go up in value against each other just a little bit over time like that. So the dollar value of both assets will go up, but the value of the assets against each other might kind of just fluctuate a little bit. So it trades and gives you a bunch of both the assets as a kickback at the same time as you're not selling off any of the assets themselves, really. You're just trading them against each other to get more of both. So if you close it after like a whole year maybe, then the price might have gone up exponentially and you're still sitting on this slightly more amount than you actually had. And that's what I like that. And Rob taught me that because Rob is smart. Did I explain that correctly, Rob?
You did it very, very well, Phil.
Yay.
And despite explaining how they worked, I still don't really use them myself.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, Rob uses more sophisticated bots. But we'll get into that later on as well. So
yeah, he does a whole different type of system.
yeah, Rob uses the super experienced, super geek person bot. The coder person bot.
I just learned how to write strategies, and so I
Yeah.
create my own strategy.
Yeah, we'll actually be creating a whole lot of educational content for any and basically anything you can think of. We've made a small. I'm gonna go back to the lobby here. So what we've made is we made a little bit of a plan to create some educational content for Crypto Talks, right? And what we're going to aim to do is we're going to try to release as many videos as possible. Oh, that's a link to join Crypto Talks, John. Did you not send the Pionex?
Yeah, I put it in there.
You did? Okay. It should be
Yeah.
there too. All right. So we're going to try to create a lot of educational content. Starting with, I think we agreed to start with how to do TA and what it actually is, what it means, how it works, when you should use it, when you shouldn't use it, as the first video, and then we'll go over
What is TA? That way people
Yeah.
know what it is.
Yeah.
No, I mean,
well, TA, yeah, technical analysis, just how you
oh, there you go.
how you look at the price action basically of an asset, which, in truth be told, it's the last part of investing for me. I do macroeconomic analysis, and then I do fundamental analysis, which is where you deep dive every project that you're looking into, and then you figure out which one of those you like, and then you do the TA to see when to get in. So it's like a timing thing, right? And so we're gonna go through that, all the different indicators to use, all these things here, and teach you how to basically read the charts, because I know there's a lot of people out there that look at this and they just go, "What?" And that,
Yeah.
I swear,
I
I was
mean,
there
there's
too.
a lot of lines, and for people that have never used it before, staring at it, it's just, I
It
don't know what I'm looking
hurts.
at anymore. Yeah,
It hurts.
there's a lot to it.
Yeah, but truthfully, it's not that hard to learn. It's actually, I think if you were to sit down and look through all the videos that we're going to release, you would be a pretty decent trader at that point. And then over time, you'll just get experience.
The problem people routinely have is they use too many indicators. They flip flop around between strategies. You know what? It's like going to the gym. It's the same as when people go to the gym and they can't just stick to one routine and one, a well balanced workout routine. The same with TA. Stick to what works. Find some really reliable indicators that give you a high hit ratio. Whatever they are, people just learn the simpler bits first. Learn how to deadlift, learn how to bench press.
Yeah.
You don't have to learn every
No.
single exercise in every single book to become a good analyst,
No.
or
no.
even just a competent analyst that follows rules and executes
Yeah.
according to a strategy.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm going to let you know right now, not a lot of that was in layman's terms, so definitely going to need to work on that portion of the talks.
Wow.
Well,
Phil can do that. You
yeah.
can do that, John.
Well,
Oh, okay.
yeah, John, I have homework for you.
All right.
Well, no, but
I'll work on
truthfully,
it.
the whole TA thing is getting into it and just practicing and using. I think for me, I used 3 indicators and that's it. Then I make my little lines and stuff, and I look for patterns. But honestly, it's not that difficult. So we'll make sure to teach all of y'all. But let's see. I want to go back to
The current state of crypto.
yes, actually, I kind of want to. Like we all know what's happened with the FTX now. It's been a complete, and it, like on Twitter right now, it's just
I do
the
say
next thing just flowing through Twitter. And the last one of the things I saw is that people think that Sam is on the run right now. Sam Bankman-Fried, the CEO and founder of FTX.
I mean, they are tracking a flight from the Bahamas to Argentina.
Yeah,
Or
I think that's landed now, but yeah.
let's not concentrate too much on speculation.
No, exactly. I feel like, I mean, and also the whole FTX hack where apparently a lot of, actually I think we saved that. Apparently the hacker has been sending. I'll show this. Has been sending funds around, and they've created their own token apparently called well, I don't want to
Fuck
swear,
SBF.
but
Come on.
Rob swears. So this hacker
It's
has
gonna-
actually been
it's gonna
sending.
happen.
Well, this hacker has been sending stuff to Binance, to Vitalik, and all over the place, just to
Basically, all the major wallets in the crypto sphere.
yeah,
Yeah.
which is I don't know if it's hilarious or if it's angering. I can't
It's-
decide.
It's definitely I think it's something that's trying to get some sort of attention, isn't it? It's just like those wallets are now directly, they've received, some sort of these tokens. I'm kind of surprised they've not been sent like ETH directly from FTX, to be honest. Just
That would be
Yeah,
a little terrifying, but I mean, I
Yeah,
can still see it happening.
exactly, it's look, this this is our housing bubble collapse. Essentially, it's the same drivers, it's the same kind of leverage, it's the same reused assets over and over again, and then when people want to turn around and get paid, there's no money there. It's a straight up Ponzi.
it's just it's a background. That's the crazy thing,
Yeah.
It's like crypto shouldn't, like, banking. Traditional banking is run on fractional reserves, right? Crypto shouldn't.
Well, in this case, it was. I mean, so for
Yeah,
those
exactly.
who don't know precisely how this debacle came about, essentially, FTX and their say sister company, their hedge fund company Alameda, were taking out loans against their native token FTT, and people were taking dollar loans out against FTX's native token, and FTX were allowing this, and they were allowing this debt to get built up, and it appears, I'm sure it will all come out, that then some of that money was getting sent over to Alameda in order to pay for their risky bets, which during a 90% bear market, a lot of those projects were worth dust. And so when all these people came to actually redeem their dollars and cash out of the exchange, they soon found out that the amount of collateral underlying those loans just simply didn't exist. The FTT token started to drop, which
Well,
made
I
things
mean,
worse.
the whole entire point being that literally the main asset held by the trading firm was their own token.
Yeah.
So the fact that they sold that small amount at such a high price, propping up the rest that they own, making it look like it's worth so much money, perfect for them
Yeah.
until until the customers see what's actually happening, and suddenly a run on the whole entire exchange where everyone's trying to get the liquidity out of it, and then you have a liquidity problem in the first place because the exchange has already sent a vast majority of the funds made or even just taken in the first place over to Alameda.
Yeah.
Because of funding.
Yeah, it's
So most likely that Alameda went bankrupt in Q2, and they actually were hit by the Celsius and the 3 Hours Capital and Luna collapse, and that probably sent them under, and they were just bankrolled by FTX, who acted the big man, thinking they could fake it till they make it and buy all these companies up and support all of these dodgy loans, and all they did, they just became the over leverage themselves by taking on dodgy loans.
Yeah. At the
And
same time
if-
as the space, we're looking at them like some kind of hero coming in to try to save everything, which got them a lot more users, most likely. I never used FTX because honestly I wanted to, but I was too lazy to do that KYC that they have, which is the longest KYC ever.
Did I not
That
refer
one
you to
did.
it?
Well,
That was a deterrent for
Yeah,
a lot
but-
of people, was the KYC process.
yeah.
I think that's honestly a deterrent for a vast majority of crypto projects, honestly, because
Yeah.
they see that someone wants to know who they are and they're like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah, but we've also
is why
seen
it
now
is-
that what's happened for during this entire bear market, I suppose, is that all the like all the major exchanges that have gone down are centralized, right? Because
Yeah.
it's the human factor and the greed that breaks it, right? Because they keep over leveraging themselves. They don't have like the DeFi protocols seem to be working just fine right now.
Absolutely.
Like,
I had a loan with on Aave until very recently, and it worked perfectly. The price has dropped
Yeah.
throughout the year. So that means for people who don't use Aave, you have to deposit collateral. So you have to fund it with your own Ethereum stable coins, like Matic token, depending on what the network is, and that then serves as collateral that you can borrow against. And then people would borrow a small amount, very reasonable interest rates, which were set by the network, set by the supply and demand of the system. And if your collateral dropped too low and you couldn't repay the loan, then the system would liquidate you, and it would sell your collateral in order to pay off your loan and
Exactly.
charge you a fee for the process. All very clear, the rules are followed. Everything has
Yeah.
enough collateral.
And it takes
Drop
5
the limit.
minutes. I don't even think it takes.
So
It takes
simple.
like 2 minutes to click it through. So like, this is. Are any of you guys got affected by the FTX thing? No, I did not, because I didn't want to use. The only thing that affected me was the fact that I hold a sizable amount of Solana personally, but that is now in cold storage. All my stuff except for one bot that's running on Pionex right now, which is a Binance liquidity, it is running. So I've not been affected more so than just seeing the price of Solana going down, which I'm fine with. Like I'm looking to hold that for a long time, so I don't really mind.
Admittedly, while I was not affected by FTX, I did move into more stable coins, just so that I didn't lose any more on some of my positions.
Yeah.
Now, since I have seen some regrowth, I have put a little bit more back into Ethereum and I believe it was Matic.
Mm. Yeah.
Not so much Solana yet.
Yeah.
Still trying to figure out what's gonna happen next there.
Yeah. I mean, I've loaded up with stable. I have some stable waiting as well, but I'm waiting for that big wick down. So I've actually prepared some limit orders to get in on BTC, ETH. No, sorry, not ETH. BTC. The last little purchase back that I want to do with Solana, and I'm looking to get into Matic as well, because it's the big names that will for sure stick around. And you shouldn't even say that. I shouldn't even say that, because you never know. But
honestly,
in my opinion,
the amount of genuinely large corporations that are putting money into the Polygon Matic network is insane.
Yeah, and same goes for
I mean,
Solana, I believe.
What is it? Reddit's done it. Disney's on the way to do it. I think Starbucks is going to be doing something with it. Meta, technically Facebook, whatever you want to call them.
Yeah.
I believe they're also involved with Polygon Network. Instagram also going to be involved with Polygon Network. There's just so many genuinely large names. Also, why I see social or mass social adoption coming within the next probably like 2 years.
Yeah. And I think the same is true for Solana at this point, because I mean, if you for those of you who look at Solana a lot, you would know that they are going to release their phone soon, which will literally put the Solana network in everybody's phone, just like that, with an integrated wallet and everything, which is awesome. And I know there's a lot of big names and big brands that are looking to do stuff with Solana. It takes sit down for an evening and look through what might be coming to Solana. Just Google your butts off.
I feel like we should do an episode just about what crypto devices there are currently, because there's more than just the Solana phone. It's pretty cool what's out there.
Yeah, we can do that for sure.
All right.
But anyways, so what I wanted to get into is like, how can we? So we've already touched on the whole DeFi thing, which is something that I'm personally going to be using more now. And I'll probably use CeFi just to on-ramp some stuff, just for the simplicity of that. But what can we need to demand more things from the centralized exchanges. I mean, proof of reserves first of all, and also proof of liabilities. If you can't find that on an exchange, I will not use it going forward personally. There needs.
Do you know
to
of any
be,
right now that have that?
Binance are preparing their proof of reserves. They've said they've released like their main Bitcoin, Ethereum, I think Binance Coin, BSB, USD wallets to say like here's our like majority ones,
Okay.
but we're preparing a full document.
Yeah.
So
I'd like to see the proof of liabilities too, because without that, it doesn't really matter what their reserves are.
Do you
to be
see
honest.
someone like Crypto.com or Coinbase doing that?
I know that Crypto.com came out
Excellent.
recently with a ridiculous proof of reserves, and I kid you, 19.6% of their entire reserves is in Shiba Inu.
Nice.
I mean, I'm sorry
I
if
can
you're a
only think
Shiba investor, but it
Hey.
really has no.
I can only think that they're a custodian for say, someone like Robinhood. If they're a custodian for Robinhood, say, and look after things, just or some big holder.
Honestly, that is not a bad way to think about it, especially in the sense of there were a lot of people, just regular common day average users that are just like, oh, Shiba, that thing's going crazy. Let me get into it. And I mean, I'm talking my friends from college, people that I would just be like talking to regularly and be like, yeah, I got some Shiba. And I'm like, why? Like, what are you doing? And they're like, I'm getting into crypto. And I'm like, I get it, but like, that's not the way to do it.
Yeah, don't start there.
We're sitting there. We're sitting there. 100 IQ. Like, no, don't buy Shiba. The tokenomics are terrible, and it doesn't make any sense, and it doesn't do anything. And meanwhile, it's like everyone else is like, haha, got me a
I
dog
got
coin.
Shiba. Yeah.
I got dog coins.
Yeah, and then it moons, and we're like, dang it.
Yeah. Oh no. It's like I was so super smart at the start of the last bull run, and that now just like what you wasting your time on that for, and then just watching like everybody else make absolutely
ridiculous.
Yeah. And I'm like, I have Bitcoin. It is 200% up this year, and they're like, ha! You only made 200% on your Bitcoin.
Yeah, but
I'm 4,000% up on a dog.
I just want to do a quick touch on that. I was going to do a quick comment on that, and we need to, in my opinion, we need to, and I'm going to get to some of the comments here. I saw David wrote something I want to bring up, and Glork as well. But we need to be able to differentiate crypto and Bitcoin. This is my own opinion, okay? Bitcoin, it's not the same thing. Bitcoin has no leader, it has no CEO, it has nobody who can actually mess you up. It is just there.
No single point of failure.
Yeah,
it's
and it
no
just
one
works.
thing that can go wrong.
And people keep saying, oh, Bitcoin is so boring. And yeah, it is. But it will never disappear. It took 5,000 years or 6,000 years for humanity to find a better money or store of value than gold. It's Bitcoin. Do you really think Bitcoin is not going to be around for a substantial amount of time as money? Or
until there's a better form created.
Yeah. And if it took 5,000 years earlier, I don't know. But
maybe
I would
2.5K this time.
Yeah, 2,500 years. That's fine. That's fine. No, but honestly, I think
how much faster the computers run than humans.
I want to say this. Like,
I was gonna make a dad joke.
I think it's very important for anyone who is into crypto in any type of way should consider reading the Bitcoin Standard at the very least, because that's a great book. I mean, it explains the history of money and how that works and what money actually is, and you get such clarity when you read that with everything in terms of what Bitcoin is. And I actually have it as an audiobook. I have it in the English version, even though I'm Swedish. But I also recently bought 2 copies of the Swedish version the other day because they just released that. One from my mom, because she reads a lot and she refuses to read in English. And one that I can just give to some cool person that I happen to find on the street, basically. So it's worth checking it out. But yeah, I want to get to some comments here because I saw that David, the lack of quality information and too much influencers. I mean, yes, there's a lot of influencers out there that actually just says stuff with no backing, and people tend to listen to. I'm not gonna bash any crypto influencer by name, but there's a lot of people out there that just say things, and then 2 weeks later they say another thing, and people just seem to forget. It's like, if you really want to understand, you have to do it yourself. Like, look into everything.
That's why everyone says do your own research.
Yeah.
That's the only way that you're actually going to understand certain things. Sure, listening to certain podcasts, listening to certain influencers, you're going to get an idea of what's going on, but you're never going to get the full picture.
Yeah.
An influencer truly is trying to influence the
Influence,
situation.
Yeah.
So
That's their job.
maybe try and get to the base and bottom of the facts every time, just in case. Because
Yeah. Yeah.
you never know.
The whole point of Crypto Talks, by the way, if we can influence you a little bit, is that we're trying to actually just create a platform. The Discord is the main platform for this. We're going, and this channel is going to be where the video content is. But inside Crypto Talks, the networking server, the whole point of the networking server is to educate and to network with other people in the space. And that's what we want to do. We want to do our part in mass adoption, I suppose. And we're going to be open. Well, I guess officially now it's open to the public. Beforehand, we just invited people that we just
New.
met online when we were networking, right? But yeah,
that's how we formed. We just met online, and
exactly. And the funny thing is, we all 3 of us have the same point of contact. It's Jay.
Hi, Jay.
Hi, Jay. Hi. So kudos to Jay for knowing everyone. But actually, we were thinking about the names down here that we have. My name, it just said Phil Crypto Talks. We were thinking about having John be John knows everything, and Rob
Rob knows everything.
John knows everyone, and Phil knows John and Rob. It's true. It's true.
It's not quite true.
That's definitely true. I wanted to put it.
It's very close to the truth, though. But yeah. So I saw another comment from Galork. So then, which exchange is the most trustworthy right now, in your opinion? My opinion?
That's a good
DeFi.
question.
Sorry, it's
that's true. DeFi is technically the most trustworthy right now.
Yeah.
Now, which exchanges do we use? I know that I base a lot of mine out of Coinbase because for the United States, it's honestly easier for me. I don't really have any issues. I have their card, so I can hold on to USDC and basically do whatever I need to do as far as bills go. Honestly, one of the easiest processes for using crypto right now, for me personally.
I haven't used Coinbase since about 2018, just because I moved to other exchanges. But I'd say Kraken is another, like, you are trustworthy. They have a US banking license. Like, they are technically, I'm sure, an actual like accepted bank. They handle US dollar pairs, not Tether pairs or crypto or USDC pairs. Like, you are trading into actual currency. So in terms of trustworthiness, it is a step above when you're same with Coinbase.
Yeah. And for me, it's I mean, personally, I only use Pionex now. But most of the, like, I don't keep anything on there unless I'm currently trading it with a bot, and it's not a big amount that I have. And the reason why I use Pionex is because, first of all, the whole bot thing is nice. Secondly, they have a nice on ramp, Alchemy Pay, I think, so it's no fees. And also, it's because they share liquidity with Binance, and Binance, in my book, is probably, even though they're kind of in the whole chat with the FTX thing a little bit, if you're just going to use an on-ramp, and I see Dave just asked if you can't buy directly on DeFi, what's the advice? Where do you buy? Well, I buy on a Pionex, and then if I'm not going to trade it, like if I buy Bitcoin, I don't trade Bitcoin, I just accumulate. I move it directly to my cold storage right away, poof, and it's gone. 10 seconds, 2 minutes maybe max. But if I'm going to trade something, I usually move it from cold into Pionex, and I put a bot there and let it do some stuff. But it's never more than like $1,000 per bot, and I think I've never had more than like a couple of thousand on there. And I mean, for some people that's a huge chunk over maybe even all of their assets. But honestly, right now I would kind of stay away from even trading, just because you don't know, at least until things cool down a little bit. You can still accumulate by just on-ramping onto Pionex, for example. Buy whatever you want to buy and get it off. That's the safest play right now, honestly. It's the most boring play in the world, but...
Would you still consider it kind of like a DCA program then, and just institute that and then go straight to cold storage?
Yeah.
Rob,
Yeah.
would you do the same?
Yeah, so that's, I currently am doing I've got dollars on crypto.com, and so my DCA goes in from there. So Bitcoin, Ethereum, Polygon, Solana. I buy four separate days every week out of my dollar pile, and then so I keep a small reserve of dollars on crypto.com, but then the majority is
you send it off.
It's not on an exchange. You can draw to your bank account or to a storage, a cold storage wallet.
Yeah, I mean, keeping 10% of your bag or whatever, if you have a massive bag with millions of dollars, 10% is quite a bit of money. I wouldn't keep that on any exchange at this time, but like, I actually never keep more than 10%. Never keep more than 10% on an exchange, no matter what. Kind of boring, but honestly, if it's DeFi, if you can use DeFi for all that, then maybe it's a much safer play. But honestly, right now, I think preserving your wealth is way more important than accumulating more.
Well, this is safer is a relative term. Last year we had an awful lot of DeFi protocols getting hacked because it was 2021 and it was the height of bull market season, and people weren't doing due diligence. There was just, hi, come here and get this 28% of completely sustainable yield. Don't ask questions. It's all right. Trust me. I'm called Badger DAO. And then next thing you know, that was an example. Badger DAO got hacked for I think $50 million or $100 million.
Yeah, I think what we can do actually with Crypto Talks as well is that we're probably going to write a kind of security protocol that you can look at and
to follow
if you want, because again, preserving what you have is more important than getting more. Because I mean,
that's very true.
At the end of the day, I don't want to call people greedy, but that's what greed kind of starts with. You see opportunities and you put everything in just to get as much as possible out of it, and then boop, it's gone. And that's where people are getting basically ripped to shreds right now.
Yeah.
So I say for everybody who's listening or watching this after the fact, just be careful. Like, don't keep things on exchanges. Make sure you have cold storage. A ledger works fine. Keep your seed phrases in, a safe location. It takes a lot of extra work to be very safe, or as safe as possible, but it's definitely worth it. Like I mean, if I lost my bag, I would just...
There are some very simple ways of keeping things safe, though. Like if you spend some time Google searching ways of securing private keys, and there are some very, very simple ways to do it. I mean, I know this this may not necessarily be the simplest, given the fact that they're multi-billionaires, but the Winklevoss twins, who own a huge amount of the crypto supply, I believe they keep theirs on scraps of paper in separate bank vaults.
Hmm.
Never the full key. So somebody would have to break into multiple high security vault in order to get their overall private key.
Yep.
I believe that's how they do it.
Yep.
And if not, then I've heard it from somewhere else and it's someone else. But either way, great idea. But you can do kind of similar things if you split your key up and put it into two completely separate locations with their own set of safety. Then you've actually increased your security a hell of a lot, even though each
I
device
will state,
be as secure.
I will never keep it on a computer,
No.
Well,
on my phone,
no.
anything
Well, that could
like
be.
that.
It could
It's,
be.
it's always like
yeah.
written down, or in the one instance, it's like etched into a piece of wood because it's easier. Didn't have to worry about it. I thought it was fun.
Yeah, I mean the whole wood thing. I mean, if you think about it, look, what I've done, and I'll tell you this: what I've done is I bought a block of titanium. Okay, that thick, that big. The seed phrase is machined into it, right? And it's been placed in a safe, not even remotely close to where my house is. And
All right.
if so the reason why I picked titanium rather than wood is because if you have your seed phrase in your house, in your safe, and the thing burns down, even if the safe is fireproof, it will be kind of hot in there and the wood might actually start burning. So
Fair.
yeah,
Fair.
I'm a
No,
hyper.
titanium's a good idea.
Yeah.
And melting point is pretty high, so don't need to worry as much.
You could get
I'm not
tungsten as
silly.
well.
Unlike these guys, I'm not silly, so I'm not going to tell you mine's secured, which is even safer than these two morons.
Hey, I don't think our best friends in the chat will find us and pull a knife on us and be like, "Where's your seed, please?" But yeah, so again, how can we improve the like improving the whole centralized exchange? I think it's time for the SEC to actually do something, because I am underwhelmed. To say the least.
Do something in what degree? Like with the
John-
library case, all they've done is just make it harder and harder for anyone to understand what you're supposed to be doing, who you're supposed to be talking to, or how you're supposed to be designing yourself even. Now, given there is some clarity in the form of, if you are a project, you should be securing your utilities first. That way, in every sense of the meaning, as you move forward, any NFT or token offering that you have, it actually is placed into a real value from the start. So you're not offering a token with the hopes of there being profit in the long term. Because that's one of the reasons why things start to pass the Howey test. And the Howey test is something that determines whether or not it is a security in the first place. So with all that in mind, there's just so many new facets that we have to look at in regards to what crypto is, how people are even issuing it, how they're building their projects out. Are they attempting to issue a token first in order to get the funding to build the utility? Because in that instance, that's going to be a security more often than not, from how it seems. Now, again, to preface all of this, this is mostly based on whether or not your project is based out of the United States. If you're not based out of the United States, some of this won't even honestly even touch you. So you don't even really need to worry about it.
But I guess
the ones that have been in trouble are the ones who offer tokens to US citizens. So even
now,
so that
beyond that, yeah, that's where it starts to open up the other door, because they offer it directly over the counter to US citizens, which allows for the potential for them to get kind of like checked by the SEC. Beyond that, you have the opportunity to, instead of releasing it as an over-the-counter operation, you can release it on a DEX. And if you release it on the DEX and you don't actually have any say in regards to who's buying it, because the DEX is an open platform internationally, worldwide, all that jazz, it's genuinely unrealistic for the SEC to be coming after you because there's no way that you could know who's buying your token offering. But you're also not doing it with the intention of it being for profit right then and there,
Right.
because you should again have a utility already built.
Yeah, it's the crazy thing about all of it is that because Jay is asking right now, what's our stance on the regulations and what kind of regulations do we need? I suppose is the question here. But honestly, we need clarity. The markets need clarity. I saw that Mr.
I'm going to stop you
Wonderful.
real quick. What do you mean by clarity? Like what sense of clarity are you looking for? What pieces are you looking for in that word? Like where does the clarity need to occur for you to be like, this is this and this is that?
Yeah, that's the problem. I don't know because I'm not a guy that dabbles with that type of stuff, if you know what I mean. But as far as I've understood it, because what's his name?
We did well. It took nearly an hour. We managed nearly an hour. Microphone. Nope.
Nothing.
I so thought this would be me.
I honestly thought it might be me. I thought my internet would go out first.
Nope. Well,
Yeah, no words.
apparently,
So
yeah, we're supposed to keep talking.
no, I do agree though with what he's saying.
I can maybe jump in a little bit and carry on what it was. What do you mean by clarity? There's a problem with clarity, and that is clarity to me would be applying transparency rules about assets and liabilities, but it would apply as much to the crypto world as it would to the traditional world. And in my opinion, nobody in the traditional world wants to open up that kind of worms and see what is hiding in the very opaque traditional financial system. And I think that's kind of the what we've seen in crypto this week from like the long-standing members is just a real sense of disappointment that actually we're just as bad and we've been contributing to that behavior of the same thing which has plagued the traditional finance world, which Bitcoin and crypto was supposed to get us away from.
Now, I'm not going to disagree with you, but I would like to state with Twitter being a tool that's actively available to us, the genuine real time ability to track everything that has been happening, everything about the Sam Bankman-Fried case, everything that's going on. They've been able to track the transactions. They've been able to see what he's doing. They've been able to find every single thing along the way because it is on the blockchain, and because these are things that people are now able to just produce almost immediately.
Does it work?
Yeah. Well, hey, he's
There
back.
we go.
There we go. Sorry
So
about that.
with all that in mind, with the ability that we have right now to trace and track and be that transparent, you'd almost think that that would be more beneficial in this circumstance.
Look, actually, crypto is the gold standard of how to run a financial system because these crooks, these people who have broken it, whatever rules they've broken will come out. I'm not going to accuse anybody of breaking laws, but certainly broken trust and
Mhm.
you know, if you make a deposit on a crypto exchange, and for years there has been these rumors that exchanges were rehypothecating, which essentially means using the same asset over and over again in order to borrow against. Tether is one that's been accused of it for years. That they don't actually have all the billions of dollars in reserves and they just print them out of thin air. The problem isn't I've kind of always believed that actually, Tether had most, if not all, of those dollars because
hmm
it's a money printing service. It doesn't have any real reason to create them out of thin air and create. Well, I'd like to think they wouldn't be that stupid as to open up that risk to themselves. And I
Yeah.
believe, I believe that FTX were actually kind of run by some people who knew a little bit more than to not Ponzi up their users' funds, which is the only way you end up in a black hole. And it's financial mismanagement. And they, like, as you say, they've been. You can see it all because it's on the blockchain. And I think in the traditional world, in the next year or so, you're going to see an awful lot of dirt come out about the traditional financial system, which is falling apart at the seams. And nobody's going to know where that money goes or where it went, because
Yeah.
crypto is a better way of doing it, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, you can't hide. I mean, even if everything that's disappearing from FTX right now, it will be eternally trackable, basically.
Tainted. It is a tainted wallet.
Yeah. So you cannot, as long as somebody wants to sit down and look at everywhere where the funds have gone, eventually. And by the way, I saw that the Kraken, what was it, the chief security officer, Nick Kokolog or something like that. I can't remember his name now. He actually came out and
Nick Pokoko.
Yeah.
Pokoko.
Yeah. He came out and actually said, "Oh, we know the identity of the hacker now," because they had moved stuff over to Kraken, and the Kraken just said, "Oh, we know you," basically. So, hey, that's good.
It's almost scary too, but
yeah,
it's good news in the sense of, again, we are able to track all these things. So when criminal activity does happen, it's noticed. It doesn't just go away.
Jay just said something, and the chat in the comments said that is why bank money is now FDIC insured. Well, that's an interesting point to mention, because the reason it's FDIC insured up to a certain amount of, however many thousands of dollars, is because those dollars don't exist and they can be produced out of thin air whenever people want them to.
Yeah.
And if the government had to pay out on that insurance because a bank run ensued, and if a bank run in the traditional finance world happened, they definitely don't have the money to pay everybody. And exactly the same thing would happen. And if everybody wanted to get their money, they would have to essentially create it out of thin air, because it currently doesn't exist. It exists on the balance sheet as loans.
Yeah.
So, what's happened to FTX? The same as what happened with Luna, the same as what happened with 3 Arrows Capital. All of them, it all stems back to the same thing, which is just not meeting the obligations that you promised your customers. And in any industry, that should be criminal, and there should be criminal consequences for it.
Yeah, this is the kind of regulation I want to see. I want to see, if you're going to be a centralized exchange, there should be demands that you have proof of reserves and proof of reliabilities at the very least, and there's probably a bunch more stuff that I don't even understand, but that's the type of regulation. And like I was trying to say before, my mic died. I was trying to say that Kevin O'Leary, who was a massive investor in FTX, he said in a video, I think this morning, that he will go to Washington now, and they will start, him and like all these big players that he knows are basically on their way to Washington to start demanding, regulations.
Real clarity.
Real clarity, real regulatory things going through. And that's good, because people don't like VCs usually. I know the crypto space is kind of like against the VCs, and understandably, because look what happened to FTX, right? But that's not the VCs, that's FTX, who acted as a VC as well. But these are the people.
I feel like there's two sides to that as well.
It is. But essentially the VCs here, Kevin Leary and all these big players, they are the ones that will go to and lobby, in the States at least, and try to really get things rolling, right? They're going to try to get, and they're going to start demanding it, because let's face it, if they feel like they can't stay in the US to do what they want to do, they will move to Europe, to the UK, to wherever, where they can do those things. And I mean, the MICA bill from the EU right now has some pretty good stuff in it. And if you haven't read the MICA bill, the MICA bill for the European Union, see if you can find that and go read it. I know Coin Bureau made a video about it not very long ago, which gives you at least some understanding of it. But it's actually not horrible. It's much better than people were thinking. And I know also that CTO Larson, who is a YouTuber, he's the, I guess, he was the guy who invented 3G and 4G. A Swedish guy, yeah, go Sweden. He has been kind of lobbying with the European Parliament, with all his vast knowledge. I mean, people listen to him. Let's face it, he's the guy that created telecom, basically, or at least a big portion of it. And he's totally into crypto. If you're not following him on YouTube, go ahead and do that. CTO Larson. He's a great guy. He sounds more like a Swede than I do, and you will notice that really fast. He has the Swedish accent. But yeah, there has to be some stuff happening very soon. I mean, it's gonna be bad. So I think honestly, yeah, I think homework for until the next episode, everybody. Make sure to research your exchanges. Get everything off. Look at your security. Look at making sure that you have a cold wallet, right? At the very least. That's a pretty smart thing to at least start with, even if you've been in the space
recommend
for a
the
long
Ledger.
time. The Ledger, yeah. The Ledger is good. So it's I don't know. It's just I feel like security is the number one thing we should have on our mind right now.
But then, yeah, well,
Security or securities?
the people
Because they're both on my mind right now.
Yeah,
it turns out that the people who have the single best security on the planet were misappropriating funds behind people's backs. So it's
yeah, but it's this is the whole thing with Bitcoin, right? For example, it's self-custodial. It's yours.
Yes.
You hold it. You put it away somewhere. Don't let anyone else hold it for you. It's not worth the risk. I mean, yeah.
so
if you
part
put,
of that,
I mean, if you put Bitcoin on an exchange and you start trading it back and forth to make a couple of percent here and there or whatever, however people trade, right? Cool, that's awesome. But then maybe you lose it all instead of just putting it away and just accumulating with whatever you can. That, for me, that feels like a much better move at the moment, right? So we'll see what happens. Honestly, I just feel
the
bad.
majority of
There's so
people
many
that-
people who got really messed up in the past few days.
at this stage in the market, if people haven't, I always say exactly the same thing to anybody that hasn't started buying, which is to get off zero, get some, and
Bitcoin,
just
yeah.
well, Bitcoin, yes, primarily.
It's not financial advice.
No,
Of course,
it's not.
But
It's not
if you say
financial advice.
Just saying that.
if you're talking it's not financial advice, but no, if people say I want to buy some, how do you go about it? It's like just get some. You're not in a rush. This market isn't just going to suddenly pop back to a bull market. We're not going to be at all-time highs in 6 months. Like you have time, and these market moves by irresponsible people taking huge amounts of risk, just opt out from the risk and just buy spot Bitcoin, buy some altcoins if you want to, and just average in for 2, 3, 4 years and then see where you're at. Because I can't guarantee, but I can say with a high degree of confidence that that's what I'm doing. That's what I feel is the right thing to do. And it doesn't have to be complicated, and it doesn't have to, you can avoid all of this bullshit that just takes
Yeah.
so much value away from the industry.
Yeah.
And it's a bit of a sad time to be around that we have to see this
Mhm.
happening to people and to the industry which we are like. This is a fundamental part of how we spend our time. We are more than just investors. We are enthusiasts. That's how you become. That's how you get in the space. You get in the space and you throw yourself in head first, and actually you tend to stay there. The ones that are leaving the space are the fair weather fans that came for a quick buck and most likely got wiped out by the same silly mistakes, which I've made the mistakes myself. I know all about all of the mistakes because I made every single one.
Oh, so
Yeah.
many mistakes in 6 years.
Yeah.
So many mistakes.
Yeah. And
So
look,
many 99% downs.
when I got into the space, it was
Oh,
legitimately 3 days after the peak of a bull market. And I was like, oh, this is cool. I'll get into this. And I started learning stuff. And instantly I got the boom, 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 the downtrend. I stuck around because my point, I was never trying to make a bunch of money. I was trying to learn about this, how everything works and this new technology. That's what got me in. And hopefully I think that might be what gets most of these people that stick around during these times. That's their focus is not mainly on making a bunch of money, but it's more like, I like this tech. I want to learn more about this tech. And if you want to work in the industry, even as like a moderator or for anything, like you need to network. So join Crypto Talks. Sorry, I'm just kidding. No, I'm not kidding. Do it. But honestly,
what is the phrase? Your network is your net worth.
yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, networking in this space is the greatest thing because I met these two guys just because of that. And I met a lot of cool people around, and I've gotten a lot of work experience in the space with projects and everything. And it's the best thing about the crypto space is the networking side of it. Yeah, you can make a bunch of money on it if you're lucky, I guess, or if you know what you're doing. But you have to study it. Like you can't just go in and just think, oh, this sounds like a cool thing. You buy that, and then
You get out what you put in.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
you get out what you put in.
That goes financially.
Some people will get lucky. Some people
Yeah,
will get
for
lucky.
sure, for
But
sure.
truly, yeah.
If you're
And that
planning on sticking
includes-
around, then you gotta study.
Some people, you get out what you put in, and that goes for both money and time. Some people have loads of money and they can just throw it in, and the joy of capitalism will multiply that money. That's how it works. But people who don't have that much money, they can supplement that with spending time in the industry and actually learning about what is just such a fast-growing world.
Yep.
And I'd apply that to any fast-growing world. Look at the development of, it could be anything, farming yields, it can be genetically modified crops, it could be AI, it can be machine learning. All of those things are huge growth fields.
Mm-hmm.
Crypto probably has the lowest barrier to entry of all of those.
Oh yeah,
That
people are so
you can
helpful
just
too.
get on the internet and watch three idiots on a webcam and hopefully learn something at the end of a period of time. And that's hopefully what we can contribute
Provide.
Yeah.
to. Yeah.
And look, I'll say this: if you're in the chat right now and watching, and you are experiencing a lot of losses and a lot of pain from all of this because of the FTX thing and the whole crash and everything, just keep in mind the people that survive this bear market. This is a recessionary bear market as well. Like it's not just the crypto market; it's everything. If you really study and you think about what you're doing and just try to be as safe as possible and you get through this whole point, you're going to be very happy you did. I'm pretty sure. Because first of all, you will meet the greatest people we have some really great people in Crypto Talks, right? In the server, and we are hanging around in the voice chats a lot, right? And honestly, it's if you survive this, you're gonna be okay. You'll be happy, and I'm gonna help you be happy by being here and doing stuff. So
honestly, getting through this one, I think will show a lot of people that the mass social adoption is on the way. Because
Yeah.
to get through this and to still see what the benefits are and how it's useful and why that you want to stay in it, and the fact that there's more people doing that consecutively and sticking to it as far as what they want to do or what they want to build, this is going to be one of the greatest opportunities for people to advance themselves without truly needing to be from, I'd say, a higher echelon within the world.
Yeah. I mean, I've met some of the greatest people that I've met through networking are I mean, apart from you two, is, you know, it's just people that want to, they join a project because they like the project and what the project is doing. And then they hang around and they network just naturally because they're social and whatever. And these people turn out to be fantastic. And a lot of the time I see projects, they notice you and they say, hey, would you be interested in being like a moderator or something like that in their Discord or whatnot? And that's how you get the foot in. And from there, you kind of just show what you got, literally. And then suddenly you're working in the space and you're like, whoa, cool, right? So it's I really want to emphasize the networking aspect of the crypto thing, because everybody,
Us three are a perfect example of it. We
For sure.
came directly from that. Literally, like we've never met each other in real life. We only know
still
each other
haven't.
through these screens. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And I can safely say that the two smartest people I know are on the screen with me. And
Oh shucks.
we
You're so
Behave.
sweet.
we met through just happenstance, and it's just like, what do we do now? Hey, let's do a podcast. Okay, why not? Right?
I mean, if
So-
the shoe fits.
Yes,
Jay
yes, Jay, you
introduced us
did.
all.
Oh, Stephen Abols said, I had
Yeah.
most of my BTC in Celsius, as Rob knows. Dan,
Yeah, friend of
And
mine
it-
who did get. Yeah.
that sucks, man. Look,
I'm sorry.
get through this, and I don't know what the price of BTC was at the current time when Celsius happened, but I want to
It's
say it
into
was,
the 30s.
so let's call it 30. I mean, if you're, now that you're still around, you are able to kind of start over at a very good price, I suppose, if you're looking to stick in the space and be an investor and all that. But it's like,
So I won't let him not be.
the way I personally see it is, my cost basis is here right now, right? Because I was buying a bunch of BTC and whatever up here. Then we had a massive crash. The more I accumulate here, the lower my cost basis will be. So so I'm kind of happy. Like it's I'm sorry, but
Oh
I'll
man.
be happy to.
personally, I've never had the chance to buy BTC at these
This low.
prices. I know people
Yeah.
that were around in like 2017, 2016. Their cost basis is well below this. So buying up here will
That is
up their
true.
cost basis, but it will.
Wish I had held on to my original Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I sold
I
$10
had-
from the top in 2018. I was trading on Bittrex. And I know I took out my original investment, $10 from the top. Unfortunately, I put it back in at 11,000, and then sold it at 17 and thought I was a genius. And then I put it back in at 14k, and then it dropped in a straight line down to 6. So it's like, even so, the bull markets will make people feel like a genius, and then the bear market will just take it all straight off you. And that's it. The only real way to win is either to learn. You can learn and you can be profitable. You can be smart, which is to not play the game and to simply find something which you think is valuable, buy it when it is undervalued, and realize some gains when it's if you've made life-changing money, then go change your life with it. Don't sit on it in a promise for more, because it won't be the last bull market. It won't be the last bear market, and you can either partake in it knowing the risks and minimize those risks for yourself, or play the game. And guess what? If you play the game, you're probably going to lose because, as we see with FTX, we don't dictate the rules of the game,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Nobody
we all get
expected it
screwed
either.
because of the rule breakers.
Yeah, nobody expected FTX to happen. Like, some of the
No.
best investors that I know of were completely into it. Like, I love this, it's great, da da da. And they had done their research. Like, they had looked into, their deep dive. They looked into the projects and everything. Yet, it happened.
Well,
It's-
that's the thing. They say people had done their deep dive. You couldn't do a deep dive on Alameda because their balance sheet was pretty opaque.
Yeah.
We didn't know what their liabilities were. So
No,
in terms of
exactly.
doing a deep dive, no, we didn't. We all sat there on our laurels,
Mhm.
on our being complacent and thinking, oh, Sam's a good guy. He's got billions. He's not going to do bad things with those billions. And so, no, we didn't do our due diligence
No,
as an
what
industry.
That's unfortunate way to
Yeah.
think about it, but yeah, that's true.
what I
As an
mean is,
industry, we did not.
people researched as far as they could, because eventually, if the information is not there, you can't see it, right? The same thing, like if I'm looking at ETH and I'm looking at all the on-chain metrics and I'm trying to see it and everything, there's a lot of information out there on ETH. But if I try to find the same things on Solana, they don't have all those metrics in the same place. So you really have to dig around until you find it. And still, there is no analyst that analyzes and brings those metrics to anywhere. Like, not Masari, not Sentiment, not the block. Like, you can't find it. It's just not there because nobody cares about it. So you can only dive as deep as you can. And I know these people, they looked into the FTX thing and they said, oh, this is good stuff, blah, blah, blah. And still it happened. I mean, some of the best investors in the world, Kevin O'Leary is one of them. Even he got screwed by this, right? It's like, if you got screwed with FTX, you're definitely not alone.
Well,
And-
Galois, I think it's Galois Capital, I think they're called, who are the people
Yeah.
who one of the first to point out the Luna situation and say this is a problem.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I think I saw $100 million they have in FTX.
Yeah.
Like, they spotted one, but they didn't spot the next one.
Yeah, and it goes into the whole investing thing, right? Nobody is perfect. You can be one of the most successful traders in the world, but you will make mistakes too, right? I think the success rate overall is like 75% good trades for really good investors. As long as it's more good than bad investments, you're going to be okay. So you can see these people like Kevin O'Leary as an example. He's done a lot of investments, and this one was about one of them, and it shows because that's the one everybody talks about.
But
right?
at the same time, he has that's why you don't put all your eggs in one basket. This is
Exactly.
the point about diversifying. And so I'm sure he's incredibly upset about his FTX position going bad. However,
For sure.
if he is a responsible trader, investor, that wasn't his only investment, which of course it wasn't. And so as I'll reserve some sadness for the people who've got funds that they can no longer access.
Yeah.
But yeah,
sure.
it sucks for him as
Like
well.
the
It sucks for
Bitcoin and the wrapped Ethereum, and
yeah,
there was like a whole entire list of tokens, right? That just are
Yeah.
essentially
huge list.
they don't exist. They never really existed in the first
They never
place.
existed. These guys had no balances of some of these coins in the run up to the bank run. So every time, they were just trading a balance, and every time people would process a withdrawal, they would buy in order to process the withdrawal. That's the only way that they must have done it, because they had none of these coins.
So
That's
I'm
That's
sharing
just
this.
unrealistic.
I'm sharing the screen right now with the wrapped Bitcoin on the Solana chain that was issued by FTX or Alameda, I believe. So there is 16,149 wrapped Bitcoin that are essentially not redeemable anymore, right?
So wrapped Bitcoin it's an IOU token for anybody that doesn't know. So essentially, you deposit your Bitcoin with an entity, so a centralized entity, and then you will get given one SOBTC in return, which is a Bitcoin representing token on the Solana blockchain.
Yep, exactly. And this is all of these coins are they've already been put elsewhere. The thing is, the people that own the SO Bitcoin or SO BTC, they can never get them back, right?
Well, unless Alameda and FTX,
Yeah, unless. But how
that could take years.
that
It
could take a long time, right? And so, Dave, you asked, are wrapped tokens a good idea? No, not in my opinion.
I refuse to buy WETH ever. I know that people use it on OpenSea to make purchases of NFTs and such, but I will never ever wrap any tokens, nor will I try and purchase any tokens.
But Wrapped ETH is natively wrapped, isn't it? It's wrapped within the protocol.
But I don't use any wrapped tokens. There's too much risk involved with that process in regards to just having the native token itself.
I mean,
If you can't do the transaction on the native token, for me,
Don't.
that's usually a deterrent.
Yeah,
Wrapped
don't.
Ethereum on the Polygon network, for example, that is wrapped within the Polygon network itself, right?
right. I think it is. Yeah.
So it's not. It's not like there's no centralized entity. Like Wrapped BTC is essentially an IOU token with a centralized entity
Yeah.
giving you a
Okay, that's what you're saying.
giving you a token. Whereas Wrapped Ethereum is it is Ethereum. It's just in this wrapped form for
Yeah.
utilization purposes.
Look, I think
That's just for me. That's too
just-
far away.
It's just how the contract works, isn't it? It's not. It's still Ethereum. It's just how the smart contract works in getting it in and out of DeFi protocols.
I mean, there's a lot of these things. I mean, everybody hopefully remember and haven't forgotten the whole bridge debacle with all the bridges being hacked and stuff. You have to understand. You have to think about the technology is so new that it's when something is brand new, it is usually not very good, right? Or not what it should be or could be. Like, even if somebody releases a new car, it's like, okay, oh, it's a great car, but then they always do the facelift, to kind of improve all the things that broke on the first version. Right?
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing with bridges and anything really. The only thing that I know of that's been created and has worked and not had any hiccups is Bitcoin. Truthfully, like,
Yeah.
I can't think
that's
of
right.
anything else that just works.
There isn't. Well, Litecoin.
Well, yeah, but
If you want to be pedantic,
but
Litecoin.
you're right.
is actually-
You're right. But still, it's like, didn't we have that thing with the guy that was like the lead dev on Litecoin? What's his name? That did some fishy stuff.
Charlie Lee. No,
Charlie Lee.
he sold his. He sold his stack near the top, as basically saying, "I don't need to be a holder of the supply to work on it. Like, I'm going to work on it on my own." Like,
Oh yeah, that hit
philanthropically.
people
But
weird, right?
He did happen to say that after he just sold his stack at the top. So it's kind of a It took people.
Yeah,
it took
a little
people
bit.
A while it took people a while to maybe get that trust back, but he is, as I believe, still working on Litecoin to this day as a developer. So he has stuck around and stuck to his word on that. But yeah,
Right.
people weren't so happy at the start.
Well, guys, I think we're coming up to 90 minutes here. I think we should wrap it up. And
Alright.
we'll see. Yeah, I mean, I'm having fun, but I think we should try to stick to 90 minutes unless the chat wants to demand us to stick to, 120 minutes or something. But I'd like to invite everybody who's watching to come into the Discord and hang out with us, because I'm going to jump into the voice lounge and just hang out with everybody and talk to you instead of reading your text all the time. I'll try to talk to you face to face. So please go ahead and jump in, and we'll see you there. And we'll wrap it up here. Brandon says more.
Next time,
Well-
you just have to keep tuning in.
Yeah,
Now
keep
we'll,
tuning in. Prepare some
we'll be-
questions for next round.
Yeah,
after,
exactly.
After party in Discord, Jay, definitely.
This is like, if you've got, come into the Discord. If you've got anything you want us to talk about next time, then please, come and have that chat with us. Recommend anything that you'd like to know,
Yep, for sure.
come and give us information. You know, if you can help us with the topic at hand, brilliant. You
Yep.
know, let's just come and talk about things.
Yeah, we love it, and we'll try to start dropping some videos on the channel as well, educational stuff. We're starting with the TA series, and that's going to be it's going to be all the indicators that I think we like to use that are not like overkill. I think we're skipping the Ichimoku cloud, but we're going to hop into that as soon as possible. And we're also going to try to do a series for on-chain analysis, for fundamental analysis, and for just macroeconomics in general, like and how that works and so forth. And we'll see you next time. We'll probably do one next weekend on Saturday. We'll do some daily updates shortly as well, quick ones. That's going to be, I think we said 15 to 30 minutes, something like that. Just quick daily updates on what's happened during the day. Yeah, so we'll do that hopefully every day, and hopefully that works out. It's a lot of stuff.
All right.
Right. Okay, cool, everybody. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time. I'm going to play the outro here, and we'll see. All right.
Thank you. Peace.
Cheers. Peace.